When one feels consciously or unconsciously that they have a mind, their primary way of connecting to themselves, others, and the world is through words. Whatever can be expressed with words becomes the only truth they believe in and live by. Soul and body become subordinate to thoughts and are often disregarded. People with the feeling of having a mind belong to the collective mind of humanity and live in the world of chaotically, rapidly moving thoughts. Anything that can slow down the flow of thoughts, reduce their amount, or disrupt the chaos may be unconsciously perceived as a threat to the very being of people whose innate emotional blueprint includes the feeling of having a mind. When it happens, they will do everything they can to protect their core identity. This often results in negative mindsets, behaviors, circumstances, or events. The reason they may find comfort in negative action is because they believe they are prioritizing something more significant than what they forfeit through self destructive behaviors. These are typical negative mindsets and behaviors for people with the feeling of having a mind: anxiety, inability to focus on one thing, constantly changing locations, occupations, circles, voluntary or involuntary, lack of emotional empathy and inability to read what is not verbalized, lack of appreciation for the material side of life, feelings, or body, escaping reality via losing oneself in news, forums, chats, text-oriented social media, living in the future with negative impact on today's life, disconnection from emotions and body, living predominantly in the head, prioritizing the interests of the community or friends over one's own. If you recognize your behavior or situations from the above list, one of your innate emotional blueprint feelings is the feeling of having a mind. Don't be disappointed, judgmental of yourself, or feel unlucky for being born this way. These type of feelings have not only drawbacks, such as the tendency to prioritize rapid circulation over practicality or reality, but also wonderful emotions from which amazing skills and talents grow. Let's name a few. Insights that come from picking up ideas from the collective pool of thoughts of all humans without conscious effort. Fruits of dedication to community, connections, opportunities, etc. Thriving in rapidly changing environment. Above average intellectual abilities. Connection to the future, foreseeing or setting new trends. Freedom of thoughts, out of box thinking. Spreading ideas, thoughts, and concepts globally with virality. So, how to switch from negative mindsets, behaviors, and scenarios to positive ones? We need to shift feelings that cause negative expressions of the feeling of having a mind to positive feelings that have the same type of vibe, energy of having a mind. Examples of negative feelings falling under the umbrella of the feeling of having a mind are the feeling of worry for the future, the feeling of restlessness, the feeling of not belonging, feeling oneself an alien, the feeling of rootlessness, boredom, the feeling of being trapped, lack of freedom, the feeling of not being understood, panic as a peak of anxiety. Examples of positive feelings falling under the umbrella of the feeling of having a mind: the feeling of freedom, the feeling of flight, the feeling of connection to the future, the feeling of belonging to a community, the feeling of amusement, laughter, the feeling of an insight, intellectual discovery, the feeling of camaraderie, the feeling of being understood, the feeling of excitement, the feeling of fulfilling life, the feeling of happiness. These are not comprehensive lists of the feeling of having mind type. I gave these examples to initiate your process of understanding and connecting to your innate emotional blueprint more mindfully.